kidding.
I just hit him.
You do it like it's the get ready, get set, boom. That's when you do the slap in the face when people least expect it.
Exactly. Well, I do that to my daughter all the time. Get ready, get set, stop.
Nice.
Yeah. She really appreciates it too.
And remind everyone how old Peyton is.
8.
Because you think like an 8-year-old.
I do.
Yes.
Well, more like a 7-year-old. She's getting closer to 9.
Which makes her seem much more mature.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just by comparison.
Oh, poor Peyton got into a lot of trouble with Mom today. She's actually at dance camp, or was at dance camp earlier today. And she decided she didn't want to listen. So, she's grounded for a week.
Oh.
Yeah. So Peyton won't be coming on the podcast for at least a week.
Oh, no podcasting for a week. Now that would be a good grounding.
And that would be for us.
Well,
my wife tries for a while. In fact,
if she said that to Peyton.
Didn't yours ground you last week? That's why we didn't record?
No, that's not what happened. But I do have to tell you about my friend Randy from high school.
Okay.
Randy Flesher.
Okay.
Yeah. He got grounded, over and over and over again. And he knows why. His mother grounded him for life.
Oh, no.
It was the best grounding ever. He says, dude, big trouble. I said, what happened? She caught me and she grounded me for life.
Wow.
So he's actually technically still grounded.
Poor guy. That's too bad. I don't know if I was a good kid. I wish my mom were still around to answer this for me, but because my wife and I actually do have this conversation. Technically, I know we've talked about step siblings, but I am technically an only child. Mm-hmm. She is an only child. Of course, Peyton is an only child. Mm-hmm. And we try to figure out, where does this little independent streak that she has come? Where does it come from? Because it doesn't come from me. It doesn't come from my wife. And I remember when I was young, all of my friends were getting grounded, and my mom never grounded me. So there was at one point I remember, a whole bunch of my friends got in trouble for something they were doing, and I had to go to my mom, and I made up something that I quote-unquote did wrong, and then begged her to ground me.
So you could be like your friends?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. I had never been grounded before. I didn't know what it was like.
So, and that's one of two things. Either you were a good kid, which I highly doubt, or she was very permissive.
Yes. I would say that correct on both.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine. You learned, right?
He'll be
Walk it off.
Walk it off. That'll buff out. That's awesome. So let's tell people where we are.
We are
face to face.
Yeah, we are face to face. We're in some weird hotel.
That's the last time we were face to face.
That was the last time.
People are going to think.
But there's no money on the bed this time.
Which is why you're not being as nice to me.
Oh, that's true. Very true. It's $20 right when I walk in the door.
That was so funny because I left. Okay, if you don't remember or you missed that one, we'll forgive you. But it was because I left a tip for the maid, and it was only $5 or something like that. But yes, truly, Nick came in and we did a PoddiMouths podcast, and there was $5 on the bed, and I think he was assuming it was for him or some sort of a bribery tactic. But
no, not bribe, just a tip.
I didn't get anything in the first place.
You got a whole bunch of useless knowledge.
What tip stands for to?
Okay,
it's not ensure because that would be E. To ensure, probably INSURE, to ensure promptness.
Well, if we don't get promptness, if it's insured,
yes,
shouldn't we get like a whole bunch of money back?
No. Have you been drinking?
Oh, yeah, always. Once 5 o'clock rolls around, boom.
5 a.m., yeah.
That's right. Anytime before 5 a.m., that's sober time.
So I did this one time, speaking of tips. I took a client out to lunch, and clients. So it was a dealer and a couple of his managers and so on. And I actually had gone to the restaurant in advance, paid for everything, did my card, did a big tip and everything. And so when we got there, there was no haggling over the bill. There was nothing. There was a wink to the manager, and that was it.
Nice.
And so the dealer was really impressed. And he said, "You must come here often." I said, "Oh, no, my first time." And but it was tipping in advance like that got us amazing service.
Oh, I bet.
So sometimes that's how tipping maybe should occur.
I think so.
Before.
Well, that, or if you frequent a restaurant a lot. There's a restaurant in the town we lived about 45 miles away from here. Before we moved into Nashville proper, we went to this Japanese restaurant all the time, and we tipped well. And because we went in there all the time, the owner knew who we were, gave us hugs every time we went in.
Wow.
We had the same waitress every single time
Wow.
who came and gave Peyton hugs, and it just made for an outstanding experience.
How many times you said you went in there often. How often are we talking about? Every
Well,
night?
since there are only like 2 or 3 restaurants in this entire town, unless you wanted Mexican, but there's a good Mexican restaurant there. Seriously, we went there not this past weekend, but the weekend before to go visit some friends. We have some really good friends that live there. They just bought a house and moved. And as we were driving in, we saw 2 brand new Mexican restaurants. There were already like 6 in this town. And
wow.
I swear this place doesn't have more than 13,000 residents in the town itself. It's not a huge city. It's
what
not a
percentage are Hispanic?
You wouldn't, not that many. In reality, the only Hispanic people you usually see are at the restaurants. I don't even know if they live in the city. They probably do, but you don't. They're not out and about like most of the people that live there. Most of the residents.
What you're saying is a good Polish restaurant could make a killing there.
A killing.
Pierogies. I want more pierogies.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what a pierogi is. It's got potatoes and stuff in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I should know. I am Polish.
You are Polish. I know. I thought you would know.
And I thought I would too.
And
so
potchkis or something.
Pierogies, potchkis.
Well, yeah.
We'll have to ask Mr. Smolik. We're going to see him this week.
He'll know.
He'll know.
Matt will know.
Yeah.
So Matt was on one of our previous podcasts, and he was very entertaining, I might add.
Yes.
Way more than I thought he'd be.
Way more than me.
Way
more than you.
Well, we're both pretty boring.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he might know what kolachkis.
That sounds like an actual restaurant, like someone's.
Kolachkis. No, it's a sweet treat, and kolachki might be. I could be channeling my mother-in-law.
I could ask my family since they are.
Could you get them on the phone right now?
I could, absolutely. I'm not going to.
We can pause
I'm
the
really
podcast
not going
at
to.
any
No.
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, fine.
That would be too entertaining.
Yes, so we're not doing that.
Speaking of restaurants, just before we came up here, or before I came up here, John was flying in, and he came in this afternoon. Then we had a meeting before we started the podcast, but now that we're doing the podcast, I went out for lunch with some of our managers. We're here for a training meeting. We're here in Nashville, so it's our entire team that has come in.
Yep.
My managers came in early, and so we went out and had lunch. And we were planning on visiting Prince's Hot Chicken, which is the very first hot chicken joint in Nashville.
Yep.
It's what kind of started the craze before Hattie B's took it on. And Hattie B's is very, very good. I'm not knocking Hattie B's. It's very good
Also
hot chicken.
Nashville? Hattie
Also
B's?
in Nashville,
Okay.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Probably the most famous one.
Okay.
They're the ones that really took the marketing. We had the marketing conversation about they're the ones that took the hot chicken and marketed it and made it famous. But Prince's is the original. I've never been to Prince's. Chris, one of our managers, had mentioned hot chicken, and he asked me where we were going, and I said, well, if you're going, you're not going without me because I love hot chicken. So we were going to go to Prince's. And this has been the plan for how about half a week, maybe less than that, but before they came in. And so I thought, okay, that now there are 3 locations. And there's one that's between the airport and the hotel. And I thought that would be a good one for everyone to go to. And it's not really out of the way because the original
people are flying in.
People are flying
Sure.
in. And the original Prince's is kind of off the beaten path. It's past the hotel, past downtown. So that was the plan, and as I was getting in the car, I put it in my GPS, and I noticed that it was closed on Mondays. So we couldn't go to the one between here and there. So I texted Chris and I said, that one's closed. Let's go to the original since it's closer to the downtown place. And I gave him a choice.
One of them's closed? The other ones are open?
It's because it's downtown. I think a lot of downtown restaurants might be closed on Monday.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing.
Okay.
So we were going to go to the original. And I got up ahead of time before everyone else did. So I drove up there. And Chris called me from the hotel saying, everyone's ready to go. Definitely this one. I just want to double check the address. I said, yes. And I hung up the phone, turned the corner, going down the street where the absolute original Prince's was, and it was gone.
What?
It was gone, and not just gone. I mean, it was a burnt out shell. And I'm like, okay, I think that's where Prince's is supposed to be.
How long ago did this happen?
I have no idea. But
apparently not.
Yeah, I didn't, and I didn't remember anything in the news. But then I thought maybe I heard something about it because I heard about something famous burning down. But
so
would that be
like then broaster chicken? If it's on fire.
nice. It's very overcooked. Yeah, that's how spicy it is, John. That's how hot the hot chicken is. It burnt the place down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't know that. So what? Then what?
Well, so I called Chris right away again. I said, "Man, it's not here. What are we? Let's go to the one that's south." And he said, "That one's really far away. Let's try this other place in East Nashville, which is very near that wine bar that we talked about in one of our previous episodes in East Nasty."
Yep.
And so we get there, we walk in. It's not a long line, but it was a line. We get up finally to the window. And Mr. Stephen Justice, who's also one of our managers and one of our listeners, I know he's listening to this right now. He actually went up to the window, and the lady behind the window said, "I'm sorry, we're out of chicken."
What?
Yeah, at a hot chicken joint.
This was at Prince's, or was this a different one?
This was different. This was, I believe, Bolton's. I've never heard of it, but it's a cute little place. And a lot of people were raving about it. So,
what time of day was this?
This was around lunchtime. It was a little bit later, so it was probably 12:30, 12:45, something like that.
So let me get this straight. They don't have enough chicken to get through the lunch hour.
Correct. And they're open until 10.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully they'll get some more chicken in.
Well, either that or, I mean, what are they?
They have fish too. So this place has fish too.
Oh, apparently now they're going to be pushing the fish all afternoon.
Yeah. But the funniest thing is, as we were walking out, someone in our group said, "Yeah, I don't want to do fish. I don't want." So then I recommended when the parking lot, "Hey, let's go over to Battered and Fried. It's just about 2 blocks away."
Another hot chicken place?
No, Battered and Fried is a fish place.
Oh.
And they're like, "Okay."
And you were going to
but it was but it was a really good, and I gave them the reason I wanted to go there is I knew it was centralized, and I knew when we parked we could go to any restaurant, and when we got to the parking lot I said, okay, here's this restaurant, they're all very very good, but if you want to go to Battered and Fried, it's exceptional. So we went and we all had the same meal, which is their most famous, and that's the chef's fish and chips. Well, it's the chef's special, but it's the chef's special fish and chips.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal, as usual. I love Battered and Fried. If anyone's in Nashville and gets a chance to hit over to East Nashville, I'd hit up Battered and Fried if you want some really, really good fish and chips.
Well, what a nice commercial
and
you just did for them.
And they didn't sponsor us.
Well, not
yet. They will now.
You think they will?
No.
No, me either. So, yesterday, which was Sunday, we, once a year, our church does a worship service on the beach.
Nice.
And this lake in our little town. And so once a week, and it's followed by a church picnic. So it's kind of a nice setup where we actually, and I was playing music, so we set up, a picnic table right on the sand, and we've got a Bose speaker system and guitars and a keyboard and all on the sand.
Very nice.
And then people kind of sit around and for the message and all of that. So it was kind of cool. And then followed by the picnic, which was in the shelter, and it was a beautiful day. So thankfully we weren't worried about rain or anything. But one thing that we asked people, bring a dish if you can. So there are a bunch of desserts and there are things like that all over there. But one thing that the church actually pays for and sponsors is fried chicken. They got this fried chicken from a place called the Pizza Ranch. And I have to say, in their defense, it was pretty good fried chicken, but not crispy.
Okay.
It was.
Isn't fried chicken supposed to be crispy?
Yeah, you could make that argument. But maybe I was just really hungry. But the flavor was okay. So I think, and even though, because it wasn't crispy, I said something to the pastor that, maybe next year we should get pizza from the Chicken Ranch.
I bet that went over like a fart in church.
He loved that. Well, it doesn't matter if you fart on the beach, because, everybody
Very
expect
true.
it, sort of.
Very true.
Anyway, it was kind of
fantastic.
funny setup. But the chicken was not probably what you would say the hot chicken would be. It wasn't quite as good as that. But again,
I wouldn't know. We haven't been
you'll
able to
eat it.
have hot chicken.
So when you say hot chicken, so I just assumed, isn't most chicken hot?
Well, hot chicken, or at least Nashville hot chicken, is fried chicken, and then it's dipped in hot sauce.
Is it like a sriracha or what? Do you know?
I don't know. It's proprietary for most of the
course it
different
is.
hot chicken restaurants. But you can get it at. And I'm not condoning this act. It's sacrilege in my mind. But you can get it at KFC now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how popular it's gotten. I have tried it just to see. Okay,
but
are
is
they
that
even close?
regional? Is that just in Nashville?
I'm not sure.
Because hot chicken in St. Louis is probably, it's like stolen chicken. St.
Yeah,
Louis.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Absolutely. I mean,
different
you are
descriptor.
so spot on with that statement.
It happens occasionally. But not very often. Don't start counting on it. Hey, and one other thing I saw when I was coming to the hotel in our Uber, which, just to digress for a moment, we were in a 2002 Toyota Sienna van.
Wow.
For an Uber XL today.
Interesting.
It used to be, I remember back in the day,
Yukon?
when Uber XLs were always Suburbans or Yukons
Yeah.
or Excursions or
Welcome to
something
Nashville.
like that. Well, I guess
All of the Suburban and the Yukons and the Denali's,
Yeah.
they're reserved for
Important
musicians,
people.
important people. Yeah. Very important people.
apparently, because we were not muy importante.
That's right.
No. But so, again, digressing into that. But on the way in that really nice Toyota Sienna, probably didn't have more than 400,000 miles on it. We went by some sandwich place, and I didn't catch the name because they had a banner, a 30-foot long banner that said the best cheesesteak sandwiches in the world.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
I thought so too.
Huh.
Especially because Philly would seriously walk in and kick their asses.
Probably.
if
Well, you
they
don't know.
saw
You haven't
that
tried
sign.
it, so you just don't know.
No, it might be. And I was going to say it was the best cheesecake sandwich.
They do make good cheesecake here.
That would be. Well,
I'd eat that.
how bad is even bad cheesecake is pretty good.
Yeah, you really can't mess up cheesecake.
Not so much. No. Cheese, cake. Yeah, I like both of those things.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. Well, we
seeing
have
the
some.
best
Do
one.
we have someone from Philadelphia coming?
We should.
I think so. We should ask them. We'll take them and we'll go to that restaurant and see.
Hey, now you're talking.
You tell us.
I just didn't get the name of it, so we're gonna have to.
Well, Nashville's not that big a city.
Oh, well, wow, you're very cosmopolitan. I don't know what you just did.
No, I don't either.
I'm sort of happy, and you should be happy, listeners, that you did not look at his face when he did that, because it was like I don't know what you did with your lips, but it was like a gurgling.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It's the death throes.
I was going to say, I have seen that when people are just about to die. So I hope that's not the case with you.
Oh, just look at my lips, and if they start turning blue, you know something's wrong.
Or you've had some sort of a blue popsicle.
Well, yeah.
Which is not unusual.
Not
for
unusual at all. It's so not unusual. And let's talk about popsicles. I have had a difficult time this year.
How do we
are going to get on this popsicle topic. Popsicle.
Easily done.
Thank you. The popsicle topic, because my favorite popsicles, and I look forward to this, and this is going back to me being a 7-year-old. My favorite popsicles are the ones that come in the plastic tube that you usually they see the big huge box
Yeah,
in the
without
middle
the stick. Yeah,
without the
right,
stick.
right.
And you cut off the top.
Flavor Ice.
Flavor Ice, exactly.
Okay.
And that's the brand.
Yeah.
Because there are multiple brands, but the Flavor Ice to me is the best one.
That's the one I always remember. Yep.
We up until we were in the store yesterday. No, we were in the store Saturday. We went to the grocery store on Saturday. That was the first time our grocery store or any of the grocery stores in our area had them out on display. And that's like a summer thing for me.
It was the Flavor Ice one?
It was it was an off-brand. It wasn't even the Flavor Ice.
Wow.
I have been so disturbed this summer because no one has had them.
Especially as hot. I mean,
exactly.
Well, so Nashville, and to be fair, June was not kind to us in Wisconsin.
No.
It was cold and rainy, and
I would have loved every minute of it.
I know you would have. And
we should just swap spots.
Mostly to make you feel jealous. Your wife would not be happy with me.
Probably not.
No. That whole wife swap show. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah.
I've watched it for like 2 minutes. I go, shut up. That would, yeah.
That's right.
My wife would not. Yeah. Anyway, so but with that nasty weather, you guys have been warm since May.
Yeah, we have had an unusually warm summer so far. Not the hottest we've ever had. That's coming up. This week is supposed to be the hottest. I was telling you that before we started recording. This week is supposed to be the hottest all summer, and it's above average. It's going to be 95 degrees, which doesn't sound all that high for Nashville.
Not in Phoenix. That's a piece of cake in Phoenix. Yeah.
But the humidity or the dew point, is supposed to be not dew point. It's not dew point. What is it?
It is dew point. My wife taught me that dew point is the number one indicator of how comfortable it's going to be.
This is all new. This part of it's all new to me.
Me
The
too.
heat index, because we have, growing up in the north, we have wind chill.
Yeah, because they say that in Minneapolis. They go, and the heat index will be. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no heat index. It's Minneapolis.
Right. So I had never known heat index until.
Yep.
I mean, granted, it's been 15 years, but still,
Yes.
it's a fairly new concept for me, so I don't necessarily understand it. But the heat index in Nashville for the week is supposed to be like between 103 and 105 degrees.
Oh, yeehaw.
And raining.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, the good news is, and there is good news in all of that.
There's always good news. See, that's what I like about podcasting with you. You always see a silver lining in everything.
There has to be some good news. I just opened up the closet in our hotel room. I'm just kidding. It's just my hotel room.
I am leaving my bag of stuff here.
And I know the maid's going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You see, I don't know. That fella left some stuff there.
Really big bag.
I opened up the closet when I was hanging up my hanging clothes, as I always do, because why would you put them in a clump on the floor if they're
Right.
they're on
That's what
hangers?
I mean.
There is an umbrella in my
Nice.
closet.
That's impressive.
I think so too.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Huh.
So anyway, props to the hotel, and this is the 21C Museum Hotel that we're in.
Very nicely done. You
Yeah.
could almost do an ad for them.
I could do an ad for them, but again,
They're not sponsored.
they're not
us.
sponsored.
Right. No one ever wants to sponsor us. What's with
Even
that?
when we do good ads for
Right.
them. Yeah.
Man,
I know.
Maybe they
Although-
should start listening so they know we're doing good ads, and maybe they'll give us some money on the back end.
I think listening is overrated.
It really is.
Listening to our podcast, especially, highly overrated.
So I heard something on one of the podcast news things that I listened to, and they were talking about. Well, the initial story was about bots that were going up to different podcasts, Facebook pages and their iTunes and things like that. Not iTunes, sorry, Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Ooh, I almost screwed that up.
so
anyway,
lucky.
yeah, they're so mad at me. They're going to come at me with their $400 billion. Anyway.
They'll probably attack you with an Android.
Oh, boo! That hurts, man.
Yeah, I know, you're welcome.
That hit below the belt. Anyway,
Yes.
So they were talking about these bots that were putting 1-star reviews on all of these podcasts.
What?
Yeah, but then they rolled into all of these other newer podcasts that are coming out that are telling their listeners to go to these other podcasts and give them 1-star reviews.
What
The competing
a bunch
podcast.
of dicks.
I know. I mean, if they're anything like us, they should be telling their listeners to go give them 1 star.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. What the heck is that all about?
I don't. How that goes back to our not common sense, but just decent human being.
Yeah.
Episode we talked about stuff like that.
We've only done one decent human being episode.
Yeah, because we only know of one decent human being. Yes. We haven't met that person yet, but we know they exist.
Yeah, because how many episodes would we have? Remember that time we talked about the decent human? Not really.
No.
That was a long time ago.
That was episode number...
Stop it. Nobody's going to check.
No. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's really kind of bad. So can they not... Of course they can, but do they track the bots? And
yes, they're eliminating that. So whatever service that caught that is getting rid of those particular...
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't listen close enough because I was in the middle of doing something else at the same time. But what I understand is what they are actually asking people to do, or what the bots are doing. Leaving these 1-star reviews actually won't hurt your ranking anywhere because it's not like Google.
Oh, so it's a 1-star review on Facebook, though.
Well, no, not necessarily Facebook. So it would be like Apple Podcasts. So if you leave a 1-star review on Apple Podcasts, it's not going to hurt your podcast or the placement, which I don't understand that. I think
what's the point of
well, it has
reviews?
It has more to do with downloads, I think, or a number of people that are listening, which will help rank you in Apple Podcasts.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
So to me,
I'm not 100% on that. So if anyone actually knows the truth,
yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
and we'll give you 5 stars for your feedback.
Absolutely.
I just know that. I mean, if you're going to do just a star review, and it seems to me that's primarily, well, I shouldn't say that, what a bot would be capable of. I mean, are they putting comments into? And if so, what would they sound like?
That's a great question. And they probably sound like beep, boop, bop, beep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you read a bunch of 1-star reviews with beep, boop, bop as the comment.
Well, that's if you're listening to it. If you're actually reading it, it'd probably go 00101110110.
Yes. I guess so.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they would have the technology that would turn it into an audio.
Yeah, maybe.
Beep,
hopefully.
Boop, bop.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you, John.
Sure.
I guess it's a little bit of trivia, but I just want to check out your knowledge. You should know because you're a digital marketer.
Oh, gosh, here comes the pressure. I'm going to be fired if I don't know the answer to this, I'm sure.
The symbol that you find on most power buttons.
Yes.
What does that represent?
Oh, good gosh. 1 and 0, probably.
Yes. That's exactly it. So you've got the 0 and the 1 that sticks up. It's a 1 and a 0.
Did you just give me the finger?
I did.
It's the 0, and I'll give you the finger right through the 0.
Exactly.
Which I did, and he knows that because we're in the same room.
That's right. For once. Twice. 3 times. So this isn't actually the only day we're going to record together. We are going to take some time after our meetings to
assuming we don't piss each other off.
Well, that's assuming a lot.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not speaking to you. And then we'll have to
That's really hard when you're a podcaster.
We'll have to record it separately.
You know what, John? I can't look at your face. I just can't. I'll talk to you, but I will not look at your face.
You know, it'll be fun to do it in these hotel rooms. Come on. It'll be a blast. Suddenly I turn into John McCain going, come to the coast. It'll be a blast. And not John McCain, the presidential candidate.
I was going to say, no. The one that passed away.
John McClane.
McClane.
That's what it was.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
Isn't he like the guy who fell out of the building?
Nakatomi Plaza?
Yes, Nakatomi Plaza.
that was, what was his name?
John McClane.
No, he didn't fall.
No, he didn't. Well, he was hanging outside of the building at one point.
Probably. But who was on the fire hose around his waist.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that...
the actor?
No.
The bad guy.
Who was the bad guy that had his wife on his watch?
Well, he's also dead.
Remember?
In real life.
He is dead now in real life. That's
Alan
true.
Rickman.
Rickman, very good.
No. Was it Alan Rickman?
Yes, Alan Rickman.
Are you while you talk and tell me that you're right and I'm wrong, I'm going to... Wait, no.
Well, no, you're not wrong. You're right. You're
wrong.
the one who came up with Alan Rickman. That's who it was. But his name in the movie was...
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No.
He was playing a German character.
Yeah, right.
I
can't remember
I can't remember either.
Dang it.
And of course, I've got this incredibly slow... It was Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Man, I'm good. I am so incredibly good.
No, it doesn't count if you don't know you're good.
But I knew the answer. I just
Yes,
wasn't.
I know.
I
But you
wasn't
didn't-
confident.
You didn't know
Hans
you knew the answer.
Gruber.
Gruber.
Yep.
Damn it.
Yep.
Damn it, Gruber. Oh, I love this rabbit hole. That's a good one.
Always.
Nakatomi Plaza.
So I actually got to take a tour of the studio that's right near Nakatomi Plaza. And
But it's not really called Nakatomi Plaza.
No, I don't remember the name of the building.
Okay.
But it actually, and I think someone's going to have to look this up. I could look it up, but I'm lazy. And actually, I haven't connected the internet to my computer, so I'd be doing my phone. And it's obviously really slow. I'm making a whole bunch of excuses just so I know exactly what I want to say. But if someone could look that up and let us know what the name of that building is and if it's still standing. Because for some reason, I want to say that they tore it down.
Why would you say that? Well,
I think the studio wanted to expand, so they tore down the building. It's a real building. It's a real office building. It's not. It wasn't a set piece.
No,
but it's close to. It's like right next to the studio.
Okay, should we ask Google?
Go ahead and ask Google.
I think I will, just to see what she says. What was the Nakatomi Plaza building in Los Angeles, and is it still standing?
I think you asked her too many questions. Oh, and see how long she's taking.
Fox Plaza.
Because it's right next to 20th Century Fox.
Let's see what Wikipedia has to say.
Okay.
Because that's where it sent me. And man, you're right. This is slow as molasses. This is...
Mo and his brother Lasses.
Lasses. Fox Plaza, L.A.
Uh-huh. We already knew that. You already said that.
Okay.
Okay.
It is a 34-story. Now, they made it seem like it was taller.
Right.
A 34-story, 493-foot skyscraper in Century City. It is owned by the Orange County-based Irvine Company.
Okay.
The location it has...
2121 Avenue of the Stars, Century City.
Don't pretend like you just knew that off the top of your head.
I did.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm looking at IMDb right now.
History.
Anyone who doesn't know IMDb, if you ever want to know movie information, it's the International Movie Database. You can look it up.
Yes.
Yep.
I never knew what IMDb stood for, but now I do.
See, a little bit of useless knowledge. I couldn't get you with the power button, but I got you with the IMDb.
Well, you set me up with the power button to know we were talking about
ones and zeros. Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have said, I don't know.
I like to lob you a few. Let you hit a few home runs
softballs.
Before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like to lob softballs at me.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice because you know
I hope you knock it out of the park.
Uneducated I am.
Well, it's not that. I just want us to sound good as a podcast, like we're really intelligent because we're far from it.
Yeah, we're really intelligent because we're talking about the Nakatomi Plaza.
Right.
And
Fox Tower.
Yeah, Fox Tower.
2121 something Century City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Century City.
Century City.
Outside of L.A.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the valley next to 20th Century Fox.
So you knew right where it was?
I've seen it. I've seen the building.
Oh, in person?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you saw it in person.
I was on the 20th Century Fox lot, and it was you could see it. And they said that was the Die Hard building.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
That's pretty cool. It looks shorter in real life.
Okay, who is...
Just like every other movie star.
Everything looks shorter in real life. Yes. Are we talking about movies still? Okay. So one of my favorite characters in that movie was Al, the black cop who was and he stopped for Twinkies.
Yes.
And he goes to nope, everything seems to be fine here. And he gets his in his car and they drop something. And he was, no, damn it. No.
Let's see. I just had it pulled up too. Let's see what his name was.
Yeah.
Or is. He's still alive. Reginald Vell Johnson.
That's right. And he was on a couple of sitcoms, or maybe still is.
Yeah, he was on Family Matters. He was the dad on Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Which is funny because he also played a cop on that show.
Well, because I think he was typecast.
Very much so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played a good cop.
Yep.
He was very
What I don't understand
believable.
about Family Matters is the same set of houses in San Francisco that they showed in Family Matters, they also showed in... what's that TV show
Another
that just
show?
came up? Yeah, the one with Danny Tanner. And
with Danny Tanner.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They
I do. Dan Tanner?
No. The one that the Aunt Becky, the
good
scandal
Lord.
lady.
Oh, Aunt Becky or Aunt Becky, the scandal lady.
Yeah,
How the hell would
the
I know
USC
who that
scandal.
is?
Full House.
You're just
Full House and Fuller House.
Oh, that.
Yeah, they use the
Scandal.
same block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was.
Yeah, well, they use it for everything.
That
it's
was in
it's the
San
stereotypical
Francisco.
San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like they have the streetcars nearby?
No, it's just a row of houses.
And it was on a slanty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slanty hill.
You know it's slanty. There's a lot of slanty hills in San Francisco.
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
Yes. I walked one day 7 miles, 7.5 miles around San Francisco. And it was, first of all, I love that city architecturally. It's beautiful.
It really is.
Probably one of the most beautiful cities in the world, in my opinion. Without getting political, I don't love all the things that are going on right now, but he's showing me the picture of Full House.
The
and that's the
stereotypical.
same footage they used
for pretty much everything. It's not just those two shows either. Movies and other shows use that exact same
the
shot.
streets of San Francisco.
Yeah.
They show that row of houses.
Yeah, pretty much.
And a whole bunch of old Carl Malden, the streets of San Francisco.
There you go.
Boom.
So here's another interesting
He had a
fact about
huge
San
nose.
Francisco. The city proper, and we're not talking about the county, we're not talking about urban sprawl, we're just talking about the city proper.
Yes.
Is, and I don't remember the exact square miles, but I think it's under 20 square miles is
Okay.
the actual city.
Yeah, I don't know what the border streets are, but yeah,
Right, but-
I would say that's probably accurate.
St. Louis city, just the city, the borders, not including the county, 50 square miles.
50.
50. So it's almost twice the size landmass, and it only has about a tenth of the population.
Okay. Interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
Now, what is the largest city in the U.S.? Single city, not twin cities,
Right.
quote unquote, largest area-wise
Square miles?
city in the United States?
That is a fantastic question, and I don't know the answer.
I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Do
Ones
tell
and
us.
zeros. Houston.
Houston. Okay.
Yes.
I can see that.
And we used to, well, because I lived there for a while, and I'm assuming nothing has taken it over size-wise, although I would say if you did include multiple cities, I would say the Metroplex,
Right.
Dallas-Fort Worth, would probably give it
the
a run
biggest.
for its money.
Well,
But
everything's bigger in Texas,
well,
except for the state fair. Ooh, I hope no one from Texas is listening.
because you're like throwing down on state fairs.
There's a long thing about that. It
Yeah.
all started with the North Stars and
Yeah.
Texas taking the North Stars away from us.
And so you owe them, in a sense.
stealing the North Stars
I
away
don't think
from
they
us.
stole them. I think money
I
changed
do.
hands.
Oh, I'm sure money's You're
You're just mad because you didn't get any of it.
That's right. No, I'd rather have the North Stars. Actually, no, I love the Wild, so we can't. I'm not going to knock the Wild. I'd rather have
You
the Wild
just
than
sort
North
of
Stars
did.
right now.
Yeah,
I did.
you just
I know,
sort of
it's
did.
bad.
Yeah.
But you can still show up at a Wild game wearing a North Stars jersey, and they're not going to think twice.
You
So
can probably show up at a Wild game wearing a Blackhawks jersey.
They might hate you.
So, you can still do it. Jeez. They probably hate you if you got
Yeah.
a...
It's interesting. Speaking of, it's interesting when you go to certain
I wear a
cities.
Packers jersey when I go to Wild games.
You should wear a Packers jersey and
They
go to a Vikings
love
game.
that.
I bet
love
they
that.
do.
They're not that bad. You know what? It's like going to Green Bay when the opposing team is playing and you're cheering for the. They're friendly to people.
Yeah.
They're not nasty. They're not Philadelphia.
Right. Well, and so that was kind of my point.
Yeah.
It's interesting how some cities will have that angst against the other towns.
Yes.
St. Louis being one of them.
Yes.
I had a
for
lot
sure.
of friends that in college, because I went to college in St. Louis, my undergrad, and they came from Chicago area or Illinois, so they were all Cubs fans. And whenever the the Cardinals played the Cubs, they would wear their Cubs jerseys, and they got heckled. They got things thrown at them. I mean, it was incredible, and I had never experienced that. Even though I joke about the North Stars and how much we hate all that, there's still no real true animosity.
Right.
It's just kind of one of those more fun things.
It's one of those things you talk about.
Exactly.
And so, again, Green Bay and Minnesota.
Right.
So, or Chicago.
Right.
those three teams, and Detroit would be part of it if there were any sort of a threat, which they're not. I'm sorry, Detroit, but anybody who's a true Lions fan agrees with me.
Oh, I bet.
Because they have been so close. What, playoffs, I think, one time in 50 years or
Right.
40 years or something. But there's just, while there is funny chatter, animosity, there's nothing that, I hate your guts, or I'm going to beat you up, or there are moments, like
Sure.
Randy Moss moments,
Sure.
that occur from time to time.
Right.
But aside from that, I think there's still kind of that Midwestern good humor
Yes.
that goes hand in hand with even
Until
with
you go to
Chicago.
St. Louis, because they are technically still Midwest.
Yeah, St. Louis is less that way, but especially when you look at the what's their football team again?
They don't have one?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's a touchy subject for a lot of
But
St.
it's
Louis
a fair
people.
subject because you know what? They should. Well, yeah, because of the Cardinals, right? And
Yeah.
then the Rams
And the Blues.
and the Blues.
Uh-huh.
And now what?
Right.
So, happily, the baseball team is quality usually every year.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't matter if they're not. That's a fun show. It's a good show to go to.
That's true. And so you can't argue that. But that's more of a like the Blues, right?
Uh-huh.
You can't really argue with the history that goes hand in hand with
Right.
it. So
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing with the Packers.
Yeah.
People will say I hate the Packers, or they're anti-Packers, but I guarantee you that almost every city in the country would love to have a city-owned football team.
Absolutely.
And that's where it's not that I had anything to do with it,
Right.
other than I can't get tickets.
Well, yeah. So beyond St. Louis, I had never really experienced anything like that, except for there, until I had decided to take my daughter to a hockey game. We got some free tickets here to watch
Nashville.
the Predators.
Okay.
I love the Predators.
Okay.
They're my home team, even though I'm always going to have love for my Minnesota teams.
Sure.
They're still my home team. And I walked in there, and I was wearing my USC hat because I got my master's degree from USC.
Yep.
So I'm a big fan of USC. I'm a big fan of USC football as well.
And
USC hockey.
and all their scandals.
And all their scandals. Did you know, most people don't know that USC actually has a hockey team.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So does UCLA. They only play each other.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm
That's
totally
because
kidding.
they use rollerblades.
That's right.
Anyway,
so
they meet on Venice Beach.
They meet on Venice Beach. Well, it's neutral
Sorry.
territory.
Yeah.
It's kind of right between.
It's really
anyway.
nice there too.
So I had my USC hat on. We walk in, and I kept getting all these dirty looks. I'm like, what's going on? What? And then I realized that we were playing Anaheim.
Oh.
And all these dirty looks because I was wearing a California hat, just a hat. So I promptly went into the pro shop and got a Preds hat.
But did you have a Predator shirt or
No,
anything like that?
No. I was USC guard.
Were you naked from the waist up?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Absolutely.
like you
I like to go
normally are when you go
shirtless.
to games.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
only go to hockey games with shirts off.
Did
my
you have
shirt
a big
off.
P painted on your chest?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make
Big
sure.
blue and yellow P. Yeah. A lot of yellow P's.
On your chest. Yes. Of course. That's hot.
I digress.
Yeah, please do.
Let's change the subject.
No, this is the rabbit trail that is PoddiMouths.
That's right. That is absolutely right. No, but I thought it was fascinating that Nashville has become such a hockey town and such a sports town for just in general that because we are getting a soccer team next year too, a professional soccer team, and we are going to have supposedly in 2021 the largest soccer stadium in the country.
Wow.
Yeah. Professional soccer stadium. So I'm looking
So
forward
they're
to
going
that.
to build another.
They're going to build another stadium. Uh-huh.
Downtown?
Down.
Is that the plan?
I'm not sure where they're going to build it.
Okay.
I think it was slated to go out by the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Which is not quite downtown, but it's still city proper. So
Nissan Stadium,
Nissan Stadium.
which is where some of our meetings are going to be this week,
Yes.
which is pretty exciting, is where the Titans play.
Yes. It's an incredible stadium.
But it's not new.
No, not at all.
Since the 90s, right?
Yeah, I think late 90s.
Yeah, is when it was built.
Yep.
And it's had several names.
Yes, it was LP Field
Yeah.
before it was Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't know what was before that.
Yeah, there were like 4 or 5
Right.
in the nomenclature list
Right.
of the stadium, which I found interesting. So how are the Titans?
What do you mean, how are the Titans?
How is the quality of the football team? How
Depends
is it
on the
going to
year.
be this year?
This year, I have no idea. I don't honestly follow football as closely as I used to.
Yep.
I'm so ingrained in podcasting and working with you, John, that I just haven't had time to watch sports.
If anyone else believes any of the crap Nick is spewing currently, please write us a note and say, I don't believe that Nick is spewing anything accurate.
I'm just utilizing my BA and BS.
It is BS,
Yeah.
a BA of BS. Please don't send us any comments that have to do with Nick making things up, or
Please do, because we want people to comment on something. So I'm happy to be wrong. I could spout out a whole bunch more wrong stuff just so we get people to comment.
I had a flash of one of the DJs in Chicago years ago when we lived there, Kevin Matthews, who was an everyday thing where I would listen to him because he's just hilarious. And he would say, please, he said, do not send us, ladies, do not send us naked pictures to 2121 South Michigan Avenue. Do not. So it was one of
Wow.
those- yeah, it was hilarious. And he would do a fake voice, a fake voice. He did an alter ego.
Okay.
And the guy's name was Jim Shorts.
Oh, wow.
And it was him doing the voice, and if you'd listen, you'd think there were several people in the studio, but it was just Kevin. Anyway, so it was kind of fun. I'm sure he's probably still around in Chicago on some.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe I had a friend who had a very popular morning show, radio show in Seattle.
Oh.
For like 10 years, and then he decided to move to Mississippi and become a bodybuilder and instructor.
What?
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Successful.
A very successful morning show, and then moved to Mississippi to become a bodybuilder. He's from Minnesota too, so I don't know why he went to Mississippi. John, if you're listening, please let us know.
If I were a betting man, I'd say it had to do with a female.
He moved down there with his wife.
Told you.
Yeah.
I
have no idea. I think she's also from Minnesota, though.
Is she a bodybuilder?
I don't think they're married anymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
But he's still in.
As far as I know,
Mississippi.
I haven't heard from him in a couple of years, so he might not be.
You
but
really should check in.
I
with
should.
him.
I
Yeah.
should. I'm on Facebook right now looking him up.
And get back to us.
Yep.
And don't give him a 1-star review if he has a podcast.
Oh, I won't. No.
Yeah.
He might. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's doing a bodybuilding podcast.
Yeah, that's why I'd quit a really successful morning show.
Well, to be fair, I asked him once why he did that, and he said the money's not as good as you think it is.
Well, how good do you think it is?
I don't know. Livable.
Yeah. $50 million a year.
That's right. That barely livable.
That's what I could never make it on that. Well, there was a guy from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Oh, I love Fond du Lac.
And it's a good crossword puzzle
Yes.
question too,
Yes.
always, because it's FOND, small DU, although you don't have to do that in a crossword puzzle.
Right.
LAC, and something lake is what.
Yeah, it's very German.
It's Indian. Good gosh, I think it's Native American. Yes. But yeah, like most
Right.
of the towns in Wisconsin.
Right.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
And then my favorite, Oconomowoc.
Oconomowoc. That is your favorite. You've talked about it before.
Oconomowoc.
Yes.
Thank you very much. How
So,
do you know
anyway-
if I spelled that right? Okay.
Well,
I don't. So
because
the guy from
we've
Fond
had
du Lac.
that. We've had that on the podcast
Because I
before.
say things over and over all the time.
So it's okay.
I
People
say
find it
things
interesting.
over
We
and
just want to
over
make
all
sure
the
that
The guy, Jonathan Brandmeier, was the guy from Fond du Lac, and he had the number one radio show, morning show in Chicago for many, many years.
Okay.
And he's still probably on the air now.
or he's a bodybuilder in Mississippi.
But a Wisconsin guy. I know he did well. I mean, he had to do, it's probably the top radio station in Chicago at the time, and he had the number one show.
Now, well, here is a question, and maybe this is the reason. Was it syndicated?
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, not initially, though.
See, I think their morning show was not syndicated. And I think that's probably where the cutoff is. Maybe. I'm
probably
just
where
guessing.
the money is. Yeah. I guess that would make sense, too. I hadn't really thought about that. But, yeah, Brandmeier, I think, toward the last, and it's been within the last 2 or 3 years, I think I've still heard him on the air. But I think he was in L.A. broadcasting.
Okay.
And they, of course, had syndicated in Chicago.
Right.
But, that would make sense that would be where the money is in multiple markets.
Speaking of Wisconsin and, the upper Midwest and radio shows.
Yes.
One of my favorite, you're going to laugh. Most people that listen.
Bob and Tom?
No.
Come on.
No, not my favorite.
Okay. Sorry, Bob and Tom.
A Prairie Home Companion.
Oh, Garrison Keillor.
Well, he's from my hometown.
Well, of course he is.
He graduated from Anoka High School.
Well, that's really something.
Yeah, and so did Gretchen Carlson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my claim to fame right there.
I
don't know either of them. But.
Confession, I have not spent a lot of time. Gretchen Carlson was never my favorite. No offense, Gretchen. Never. Right. Even in my Fox News days.
Sure.
And not that those days are necessarily gone. It's just that I would watch her from time to time, and I just really... Garrison Keillor, though, I understand. I know he has a very strong following, and
yes.
I know he is... and has been around for many years, and you got to give props for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I have not spent a lot of time listening. Though,
it's just it's one of those guilty pleasures. It's just kind of fun. Obviously, he doesn't do it anymore. He's retired.
Why guilty?
It's just because most people think of it. You had that reaction, and most people have that reaction, even though half of the people that have that reaction probably also listen to it.
Oh well, and
or they go to the live show.
That's interesting. Okay, so does he? Even though he's retired, does he still do live shows?
I have not. I don't know.
That would be interesting.
Well, the live show is the radio show. So you used to actually go and watch him do it
with an audience?
Yeah,
with
they would do it
audience.
like at
I didn't know that.
The Orpheum or the State Theater.
Wow.
And yeah, he would do a live show, and he traveled the country doing that.
Didn't he have a daily show? He would do it.
No, it was weekly.
Oh, it was once a week. Yep. Okay. Never was it a daily radio?
I don't think so.
Show?
I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I will admit
not in my experience. Of course.
I'm not always wrong. I'm just very lucky.
You are often lucky. Alan Rickman. I got your Alan Rickman right here.
Oh boy! But I really did enjoy that, and that's probably my family really enjoyed it.
Well, so tell me, what about him and his shows were most? Was it just the humor? Was it the storytelling? Was it?
Yes, and yes.
Okay,
it was the humor. It was the storytelling. They always had some really good musicians that you normally wouldn't hear, because I don't listen to country music. I don't listen to old time folk music.
Because you're mostly like big bands. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A cappella, things like that. Actually, one of our bosses gave me a new recommendation for an a cappella band that I'm looking forward to listening to. But that's neither here nor there. So it's
but you still had to bring it up.
Yeah, I did. Homey music, the hometown music, just some interesting, funny stories.
Okay.
And I've always been a fan of old time radio shows. I used to listen to The Shadow Knows.
Yes, wow.
And Superman and all of those old radio shows. I could get recordings. And I just really enjoy Orson Welles, War of the Worlds. Oh, have you ever listened to that entire thing?
No, I don't think the entire thing, but certainly
it's incredible.
Part of it, yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So I really was a fan of that when I was younger. And this just kind of fell into that genre, because no one usually does that anymore. You have podcasts now that do. And, of course, I've subscribed to a lot of those because I just think they're fun.
Yeah, some are, but some, can I just tell you?
They're bad.
I am, look, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I'm from outside the podcast world, as you know. Nick, is the one who has driven PoddiMouths to where we are today with like 5 listeners.
So that's nowhere?
And we...
I've driven us out into the middle of nowhere, and I parked the car.
But you drove it really fast. You got us there you're like a Ferrari.
The engine didn't die. That's all we care about. And we didn't run out of gas.
What I'm amazed by, and I'll give you an analogy to this in a moment too. I'm amazed by the crap that's out there in podcasting.
Oh, and we're so much better than that.
Well, and I'm not trying to say that we go all over the place, and if you were going to critique this podcast, you would have plenty of work to do.
Yeah.
However,
Well, I've always been a D student.
however, at least we have some enthusiasm when we try to do it, and it's not put on. I love doing this.
Oh,
crap.
yeah, it's so much fun.
Even in the same room with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But
even when we have to look at each other.
which I don't like doing.
No.
In fact, I've actually had a thought that maybe we should just put up a mirror here.
We could do that.
Then I
Well,
could look
there's
at
plenty of
myself.
curtain here, right here. We could
look at ourselves while we're talking. Well,
it's
John, you look really good today.
You saw that room downstairs that's completely black, right? With
No.
chairs. It's right by the
Oh,
elevator.
yeah, I did. It
has
well,
the screen on the wall, but
it's
it's
black
painted
because
black.
it's projected. Yeah, right.
The black chairs and stuff. We could sit in there. We couldn't see each other.
So we could just sit back to back. That would probably fix
Ooh,
all
there
of
you
that.
go. Yeah.
But then I'd know you were here.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Well, that's
I
what
know.
headphones are made for.
But there's some crap that's out there, and I just and I mean in the sense that it's. Hey, look, we talk about boring stuff, and hopefully interesting to some of you, but I don't want to pander. But if I have to, I will. But there's some that they're just, and there's dead air.
Yeah.
And there's just,
And they don't edit.
More of a lackadaisical sort of a. It's
Yeah.
like Stephen Wright. And I love Stephen Wright,
Yeah.
but only because he had jokes. If he didn't
Right.
have jokes, I never would have listened to Stephen Wright ever.
Sure.
The other thing that has surprised me for the analogy part is real estate agents.
Okay. You're gonna have to unpack that
and
one
I
for me.
will, because I think that in my experience with real estate agents as a buyer or seller, I'm amazed at how some of them are not very good at what they do.
You know, okay.
And there are car salespeople like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a lot of different professions where they're not great.
Absolutely.
You can go into Home Depot and say, oh, that guy wasn't very good. But it just seems like there are a lot
Yes.
of independent real estate agents that are just at a certain level. In other words, the good part is, if you're in real estate, is you would not have to work terribly hard to be better than the average.
Right.
In my humble opinion.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to be insulting to real estate agents in general.
Sure you
It's
are, but that's okay.
Well, no, I'm not. But as a whole, it's amazing the opportunity out there. I think you and I could make a killing if we sold real estate.
We probably could. So speaking of,
Especially if we had a podcast.
right, we should look into having
See?
a podcast.
Real
I think that's a
estate
genius
podcast.
idea.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast.
There
My
are
name
there
is.
yeah, there are some.
Well, of course they are, but they're boring.
They are very boring. So
See?
two things from that. One,
Yes.
my real estate agents, plural, are fantastic.
Okay.
They're Mike and Tina Kyle here in Nashville.
Is this a disclaimer?
No, they're really, really good.
Okay.
But they're a team. So it's a husband and wife team, Mike
Okay.
and Tina Kyle.
Yep.
If you're moving to Nashville, please, by all means, call them and tell them I sent you.
How nice of you.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
What
But
if you're
you know
not
what
moving
makes
to
them
Nashville?
so great?
If you're not moving to Nashville, do not contact them.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, they might, I don't know, anywhere in Tennessee. I think their license goes through all of Tennessee. But anyway, they're fantastic. But you know why I think they're so good?
Why?
Mike, and I don't remember Tina's background, but I'm sure she probably did something very similar. Mike is, John is doing funny faces at me right now, but Mike is actually a former marketing exec.
So he understands marketing.
He understands marketing, and they do a phenomenal job. Like, they give a monthly giveaway away to all of the customers.
Yes.
We're not going to buy a house from them right now. I mean, we just bought a house. So, but they still market to us, and they still do really fun things, and they're always sending cards, and they're reaching out. Everything we tell a good salesman to do in the car business.
Smart.
It just random times,
And
it's
that
fantastic.
is really what I mean. It's in the marketing sense,
Yes.
like you said. And so, yes, disclaimer, my sister-in-law is a real estate broker.
Okay.
And she's very good. And she has helped us buy more than one house. And so it's not across the board by any sense. But it's sort of the same when so here's a quick example. The first house we bought was in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. It was on a golf course, and it was a great house for us. We did quite a bit of work to it, and I want to say we were there for 5 years, and we sold the house And sure, I'll tell the numbers. We bought it for $155, and we sold it for $230.
In Chicago?
Chicagoland. Oh no, this is many years ago.
Okay.
This is many years ago.
I
in the
think
suburbs.
a whole bunch of our listeners that know Chicago well just fell out of their seats.
Well, no, but at some point that's what it was.
Oh,
But
I just heard someone crash their car.
a golf course property for $155,000. Yeah, but it was my first house.
Okay.
So it's been many years ago. Sold it for $230. About 5 years later, we did a bunch of stuff. Built a deck, took out a pool, did blah blah blah.
Right.
And the real estate agent who came in, and she had probably 2, maybe 3 packs a day, and she said, "There's no way this house will bring more than 200, maybe 205, and that's the best you're gonna do." Well, I said, I think we can do better. So I did something really simple back then, 3-ring binder, pictures of the house, then and now, and what we've done, and all the details, and all of that. New windows, new blah, 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 blah. And we sold the house within 3 days.
Wow.
For $25,000 more than she thought we could get for it.
Isn't that incredible?
But what drove me crazy about it was that she was just, I made her an extra 6 times 25. You do the math,
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
$1,500, right?
Yep.
Because we knew what it was worth, and
Right.
she didn't. And she can pull comps, and she can do all that. So there just seems to be a lot of that. And when I listen to podcasts, I get a lot of the same. I'm going, come on.
Right. So I'm going to leave you one.
But there are
last
some really good ones.
There are some really good ones, but I'm going to leave you one note, and then we're going to have to wrap it up here. Just like we say in the car business, I feel is the same thing for podcasts.
Yeah.
There's a butt for every seat. There's a podcast for every listener.
Well, yeah, but what if it's only one listener?
At least someone's listening. I mean,
but it's
we
usually
have
a family
5?
member. It's usually a
Family members
member.
count?
Yeah, well, of course they do, but they don't. I mean, that's how we got Peyton to agree
Exactly.
to
No,
do
I
the
mean,
show.
Peyton, if you put a microphone in front of her face, she's going to start talking.
Well, don't tell her that, because other podcast people will contact her then.
Well, as
'Cause
long
that
as they
girl's
pay
good.
me, I mean her.
That girl is good.
She is good.
Hey, nobody giggles
That's
like
still
Peyton.
our number one most listened to podcast.
Well, of course it is, because Peyton keeps redoing it over and over again, listening to it. I've listened to it 6 times.
To be honest, she hasn't listened to it.
What?
I've tried to start her on it, and I think we listened to the first 2 minutes, and then she was off doing something else.
You know why? Because
She's
you were
she's
swearing.
too famous.
You were swearing.
Not on that one. I didn't even put the explicit check on the box.
Oh.
Yeah, because there was no swearing.
We
didn't swear in this one.
I think I said some naughty things
Oh,
earlier.
fuck.
I'm blushing now.
All right, John, why don't you tell everyone where they can find us?
I don't know. You do all that stuff.
I know, I was just testing you.
Facebook, is there Facebook?
There is Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
search for us at Facebook @ /PoddiMouths.
PoddiMouths. Okay. And is there's something called Instapot? Instapot. We've got one of those.
Instamart.
Instapot. Instagram. Okay.
No, what's the thing Neti pot? That's what you pour in your nose, right?
Yes, it is.
Neti.
Well, it pours itself in your nose.
Well, yeah, of course.
If you're sleeping and your
Make
wife's
sure
mad
you
at you.
make sure you use purified water, though.
That's a really good idea.
Right.
Purified, or you can.
And if you want to
use
learn how to use it, you can
distilled
probably find
water.
information on Instagram, where we are also
There.
at.
And what's that
PoddiMouths.
other Instagram account that you have that we never post to? Because
Is it that squirrel one?
No. no, but
Squirrel mail?
we haven't posted to that for a long time, which is probably good, because people used to say you're nuts,
Yeah.
because of the squirrel.
I got it, yeah,
posting.
yeah.
Eat, drink, road.
Eat.drink.road. Yes, you can. Well, I posted something up there the other day.
I know
Did you see
you did.
that?
I
That
saw it.
coffee shop?
Yep, I heard it.
Man, that place was really cool.
That looked cool.
That town is not really cool, but it's got some really great history.
And so, was that the place where the guy was podcasting right behind you?
No,
it was a different
That
place.
was actually, was that Evansville or was that Terre Haute? I think that was Terre Haute.
Okay.
Yeah, because I posted that too. Anyway, so you can catch us on Twitter.
Yes.
Please comment on Twitter. I want to start some really good conversations on Twitter where we can banter back and forth with all of you, like
would be
John and
fun.
I do. Be a lot of fun. That's at Mouths Potty.
Mouths Potty. That's my favorite.
Mouths Potty.
Actually.
You set it up. I know you.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Well, it's okay.
I
It
tried
works.
Potty Mouths and it turned to
Someone else has that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to track them down and
Beat the crap out of them.
I was going to say cyberstalk them, but okay.
Okay. I'm going to go old school on them.
Okay.
We'll take
All
them
right.
to Nakatomi
Hopefully
Plaza
they're in
and kick
Madison,
their
Wisconsin.
asses.
Anyway, you can catch us there. You can head up to Patreon and show us some support. See if we can start podcasting face-to-face more often.
Can I just
At least
say
I can
this?
buy some cheesecake.
Can I just say, at the Cheesecake Factory, or...
That's high dollar
It
right
is,
there.
but
That's
it's
high dollar
yummy.
cheesecake.
It's delicious.
It is really
They
good.
have that
Maybe we
you
can go back
gotta-
to London and get that peanut butter pie.
Oh, good gosh. Okay, let's move on from that because
Okay.
I'm gaining weight just with you talking about it. I think that if we could get people to, I started, I was it two accounts I subscribed to that I'm a Patreon for now.
Oh, nice.
And it's only $10 a month
Yeah.
for each one. And it's not a big deal.
Right.
One is an RV family.
Nice.
I knew you'd be impressed.
That's awesome.
And I don't give them that. It's $10 a month for them and $10 a month for this other this lady that I felt sorry for, frankly. So, but I don't mind. It's not a big deal. So if you're hesitant, it's like you don't even miss the money.
Yeah.
So really, if you want to give us, I don't know, let's say $1,500 a month, you probably won't even miss
We
it.
probably won't miss that at all.
No.
It's not like a mortgage payment or anything.
No. So I wouldn't, don't
And we
mention
won't
it.
come after you with the credit bureaus.
Don't
if you-
mention it to your spouse or
Right.
anything.
No, definitely don't.
Yeah,
do
I wouldn't
that.
do
mean,
that.
Don't talk to your spouse about money. I understand that. Neither my wife nor I talk to each other about money at all.
Oh, don't you?
That's why we never have any.
Oh. I'm going to say, so that's your secret.
Yes,
Nice.
yes. Or, John, you think about this. So with every level of Patreon, maybe we add a Patreon level that when we hit it, we actually come visit them in the potty pod that they helped us buy.
So we're going to have some big donations to get a potty pod.
Yes.
Because if you didn't hear it, that's Nick's plan for us for the future.
Yep.
When we retire,
Podcast
and
throughout the
apparently,
United States in a potty pod.
apparently it's going to be two straight guys in a trailer.
While our wives are driving the 60-foot long, it looks like the Taj Mahal on the inside.
No, it's called a Marriott. That's
That
where our
too,
wives
yeah,
will be.
right.
Hey, pick that up and shake it by the microphone so people can hear that. Guess what that is?
John, could this be a blue polo with a very interesting logo on it?
It has the PoddiMouths logo.
Say it ain't so.
I can't say that because it's right here in front of us. If you would like to get your hands on one of those awesome polo shirts, and it's high quality.
It is.
Very high quality, done by a company in Wisconsin.
Land's End.
Correct.
Yes.
And they, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. We're sponsoring them.
We are definitely sponsoring them because those logos are not cheap.
No.
But it's a very nice shirt, and I just gave Nick one because
I don't have very many shirts.
we're friends, and I think he should leave with some clothes when he leaves my hotel room.
Right.
It's kind of a rule. A rule.
The walk of shame.
Yes.
But it won't be shameful because I'll be wearing a PoddiMouths shirt.
Walk of shame. Oh, yes. Remember the PoddiMouths episode we closed, and it took us 5 minutes longer than we wanted to close the show because we were talking too much about it. Yeah.
It's 8 minutes now, but
It is
who's
8
counting?
minutes. It's probably more like an hour. If you would like one of those shirts, let us know. Drop us a note. We don't have it all set up where you can buy the Chotch online yet,
Not
but
yet.
we will. That'll be coming to the website and so on.
And
But
that's my fault, guys, because John didn't tell me that we were going to be selling things. Otherwise, I would have had it set
I just
up already.
bought them. I like to surprise him with stuff. Hey, look at this. We're going to be selling things.
He likes to surprise me with gifts. And we're talking the GIFs, and we send those back and forth all day long.
GIFs and JPEGs. So if you would like that, drop us a note. We will be happy to get you one. I think I ordered like 8 in the first shipment. So
Nice.
we've got some XXLs and we've got some Ls and some XLs and I think a couple Ms. So let us
Nice.
know. And we would love to pass those along to you as well. You
Fantastic.
can tell
I'm really
people
excited about
PoddiMouths. Me too. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's another method. And really big people will actually pay you what we would pay if we had bought a billboard instead.
Right.
So, because I wear a double X. So I want billboard
Wow, let's
money.
just alienate, all of our listeners.
I'm one of them. I'm a billboard. I'm thinking about changing my name.
To Bill?
Yeah.
Board?
B-O-R-E-D.
Nice. I like it. All right, John.
We miss you guys.
Miss you too. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
We actually, the next couple episodes are going to be face to face, so I'm excited about that. And we
Or
hope you
back
are
to
too.
back. Maybe we'll do back to back.
Back to back, yeah.
That'd be better.
And we're hoping to. We're waiting on confirmation, but we're hoping to have some more guests too.
Yes.
We're really excited about that.
Yeah, we have a couple.
I've got a couple
sure.
of them lined up. John has one lined up. I've
Yep.
got one lined up, but it's just a matter of getting the gear and the time. So we're working on that, and we hope you enjoy, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
See ya.